Hi, thanks for joining the yoga practice today. We are going to do a little bit of a yin, maybe a slow flow. So we might kind of flow the movements one into the other, and then we'll hold some of the movements for a couple of breaths. And as usual, we're going to start off by lying down on our backs and closing our eyes, palms turned up to the sky. Just feeling, hopefully, if you're outside, the warmth of the sun. And if not outside, then maybe just imagining how that feels. And as you close your eyes, and the sun is up in the sky, you can maybe start to see red behind the eyelids from the brightness of the sun. And we're just going to bring your attention to your breath and your mat and yourself. And as you're breathing in and out, noticing how it feels. Notice if there's any restrictions anywhere. If the quality of the breath is good, or is the inhale maybe shorter than the exhale. And we'll try to even out the breath, making the length of the inhale equal to the length of the exhale. And as you inhale, the belly rises up towards the sky. And as you exhale, the belly button sinks down towards the earth below you. And just notice how that feels as the belly rises and falls with each inhale and each exhale. And now just notice if there's any tension anywhere in the body that you can let go. If there's thoughts from outside of your mat trying to push their way into your head, just push them away. Take a nice deep breath, and on the exhale, just exhale all of those thoughts away for now. We're just going to take a couple of more breaths here in this position. Maybe scanning the body, noticing if there's anywhere that feels maybe tight, maybe a little bit uncomfortable. And not really that we're going to do anything about that right now, but just noticing how your body feels at this place and time. And our last exhale here. And we're just going to bend the knees, bringing the feet down to the mat, knees up to the sky. Hands will come out wide in a T shape. And we'll just do a little lift of the hips and drop them back down so that the back's down on the mat. Tucking the chin in so that it's not jutting up towards the sky. And we'll walk the feet out to the outside edges of the mat. We'll inhale here. And on the exhale, letting the knees drop down to the right side. Nice and slow. Inhale to raise the knees up towards the sky in the middle. And exhale, dropping them down to the left side this time. Inhale comes to the middle. Exhale to the right. And we'll keep moving through this with your breath, tying that movement in with the breath. Not rushing anything, just taking it nice and slow and easy. Just starting to wake the hips up. Core is a little bit tightened as we move through this, so not loose. The next time that we bring our knees over to the right side, we'll hold them there. So holding the knees on the right, gaze is still up to the sky. Option to take your right leg using the foot, bring it to the top of the left knee just to increase that stretch a little bit, or you could stay exactly where you were. You're going to do whatever is comfortable for you. Next option, to take your gaze over to the left side, getting a little bit of a twist through the cervical spine. And we'll take a few breaths here. And as we're holding this position, just notice if the breath feels restricted at all in this little bit of a twist. Can you feel maybe a little bit of a stretch in that top left hip through the hip flexor? Maybe a little bit through the front side of the hip. And noticing the quality of your breath again. Has this twist affected your breath at all? Is the inhale the same length as the exhale? Is it shaky? Is it smooth? And is there anywhere you're holding tension you can release, and just release it out as you exhale? And we'll just nice and easy uncross that top leg if it was crossed, placing it back down on the floor. Inhale as the gaze comes back up to the ceiling, and just relaxing here with an exhale. And as we inhale, start by lifting that left knee up towards the sky, keeping the feet down on the mat, and then right to follow. Holding in the middle for a second, maybe lifting the hips up and adjusting if need be. Tucking the chin in, drawing a breath in here. And exhaling to let the knees come down to the left side this time, and we'll hold here. Option again to use that left leg or the left foot, take it on top of the right knee, and just to add a little bit extra to that stretch, or to keep that foot down on the ground, whatever's comfortable for you. Next option, to take the gaze over the right hand, bringing the ear down towards the mat. And again, noticing on this side if this slight twist has reflected. If the slight twist has affected your breathing at all. And can we work on the quality of the breath, the length, the relaxation of the breath? Let the inhale flow naturally to the exhale. And where are you feeling on this? Doing a scan of the body, can you feel it? In the right hip flexor this time, right front of the body. Are you holding tension somewhere? You can release it. And using the breath, really concentrating on the inhale and the exhale. And how that feels in the body in this position. And does it feel any different on this side than it did on the other side? And we'll draw one more breath in here, releasing that top leg down to the mat. Exhale here. As we inhale, gaze comes to sky. Knees come up in the middle. And as we exhale, a little lift of the hips and just adjusting to get back to the center. And we'll just walk the heels back towards the glutes a little bit, stepping each leg back. Hands will come down to the side, palms down to the mat this time. And we'll move through a couple of bridges, really concentrating on the movement of the spine. So we'll start by inhaling and curling the tailbone up towards the sky, lifting up off of the mat, and then trying to notice one vertebrae at a time as we lift all the way up to the sky until it's just our shoulders, arms, head, and feet on the floor. And as we exhale, we'll start rolling down from the shoulders this time, thinking about each vertebrae coming down to the mat. And notice if there's anywhere where you feel a bunch of vertebrae come down at the same time. And we'll roll all the way down until the hips are back down to the mat once more. Then we'll inhale and we'll roll it up, and we'll turn the thumbs up to the sky this time. Chin tucked into chest, feet pressing down into the mat, and knees drawing together. Exhale to lower it down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time, keeping some tightness through the abdominal region. And we'll move through this a couple more times with your breath. Inhale to move up. And exhale to bring it back down. And we'll move through one more time. Inhale to raise the hips up, pressing into the mat with the feet, squeezing the glutes together, drawing the inner thighs towards one another. And exhale to lower down, starting from the shoulders. Tack one vertebrae at a time down to the mat. And then we'll just walk the feet all the way together this time so that the inner thighs are touching. Hands can come out to the side once more, and we'll draw a breath in here. As we exhale, we'll just drop the knees down to the right and let our body roll with the knees. And using our hand at the side, we'll press ourselves up into a seated position. And then we'll come into tabletop, keeping the hands below the shoulders, the knees below the hips, fingers spread nice and wide. Top of the feet can be to the mat or toes can be tucked, your choice. And we'll move through a couple of cat-cows here. And we're going to start this movement this time from the head. So as we inhale, we'll start to look forward with the head. Then we'll drop down through the chest, drawing shoulder blades together, drop down through the belly, and turn the tailbone up towards the sky for cow. Elbows will stay nice and straight. And as we exhale, we'll start by dropping the head down, draw the shoulder blades apart, and roll the back all the way down the spine, up towards the sky, tucking the tailbone under this time. And we'll move through this a few times with your breath, keeping the fingers spread nice and wide. Noticing how the spine feels in each section as you move through this. And maybe there's one position that feels really nice for you. Maybe you want to hold in that position for a little while. And if you do, that's fine. We'll meet back in neutral after moving through a couple more times. And maybe when you're in your cat and your head is hanging, you just want to roll the head from side to side, get a little bit of a stretch out for the neck, and just let it relax. And you can keep moving through your cat-cow if you wish. And when you're ready, we'll just all meet back in neutral. So pulling it to neutral spine, tucking the toes under. And then we'll press into the feet, lifting the knees up, keeping them bent. And then we'll sit the hips back over the heels and extend the knees, coming into down dog. So in your down dog, fingers are still spread nice and wide. You can have a slight bend in the knee if that's what feels good for you, or you can try to draw the knees up the thighs. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. First of all, though, we'll start with a little bit of movement. So we'll pedal out the legs. Arms should be straight, trying to keep a neutral spine here so head stays in line with the spine. And we'll hold the feet steady for a second and step it out nice and wide to the edges of the mat. And we'll take a slight sway of the hips from side to side, moving gently with our breath. And feeling that all down the outsides of the legs, from the hip maybe to the outside of the knee. Maybe down the back of the legs as the weight transfers from one side to the other. Feeling it in the back of the calves. And then we'll just hold it still. Sorry. We will hold still. Walk the feet back so that they're hip width apart. And as we're holding this position, we'll think about drawing the shoulder blades towards the outside edges of the mat. And maybe trying to lift the toes up, feeling that stretch a little bit more into the calves. And then start to concentrate on the breath. Nice, full, even breaths here. As the tailbone lifts up towards the sky. Knees draw up the thigh bones. And we'll take one more breath in and out. And on the next inhale, we'll raise the right leg up to the sky. And as we exhale, we'll draw the knee into the chest, step the foot through the hands, and we'll drop that back knee down. Let the top of the foot just relax down to the mat. Maybe press into the top of the foot and adjust where the knee lands so that it's comfortable. If you need to, you can fold the mat over, place it underneath, or if you have a blanket close by, you can always place a blanket underneath the knee. And we're going to stay here into low lunge. We'll start by first walking the hands up to the knees. And from here, we're going to lean into that front leg a little bit, letting that back hip open up. And we'll just sit nice and tall, drawing in some nice even breaths. And we'll watch that front knee. Make sure that it's aligned with the toes of that front foot and it's not opening up to the outside or coming in. And then we're just going to inhale, raising the left arm up to the sky. And as we exhale, we'll draw that left hand over towards the right side of the mat. Just getting an opening through the left side of the body, down into the hip. And we'll hold it here for a couple of breaths. And with each inhale, feeling the expansion through the ribs, helping to stretch out that side. And we'll draw one more breath in here. And as we exhale, we'll bring the hand down to the mat or to the floor. And we're just going to lean out over that hand. From here, bending that back knee, reaching around with the right hand, stretching a little bit more into the quad. And if you can, maybe move the hand around. Try to open up that chest. Lean it into the front leg a little bit more. It's the top of the knee that's on the mat in the back, so it shouldn't be painful at all. And you should feel that stretch through the quad and through the hip flexor on that left side. And a little bit of a chest opening on that right side, bringing the shoulder into a little bit of external rotation. maybe gazing up to the sky. And we'll draw one more breath in here. And as we exhale, we'll slowly let that leg relax. And we'll bring the hand down to the inside of the leg this time. So both hands to the inside of the leg, and we'll toe to heel that right leg out to the outside edge of the mat. And from here, we'll come into gecko. So option to keep that knee down, press into the top of the foot, or to tuck the toes and lift up on that back leg. And you're just going to walk it forward as far as you can. And if that means you come down onto your elbows, you can. If you have a block, you can put that underneath the elbows. You can keep the knee up on back, or you can drop it down. An option to open up to the outside edge of that right leg, opening up through the inner thigh. And you can keep the arms fully extended if you want, finding whatever position is most comfortable for you and holding it there for a couple of breaths. And just remembering as we do this stretch, maybe this stretch doesn't look the same for you today as it did maybe when you did it the last time. And that's okay, because every body is different every day. So we're not always going to be the same in our workouts or our stretches. We have to remember that we're doing different things throughout the day, which can affect the way that we move in our practice. And that's okay. And then the next inhale, we're going to walk the hands underneath the shoulders again. And if you were on the outside edge of your foot, bringing the foot down, we'll tuck that back toe, rising up onto the back foot and pressing the heel back. Gaze comes up, we're lifting the chest up, pulling it through the hands, feeling that all down the body. And we'll just inhale, raising that right arm up to the sky, getting a little bit of a spinal twist of the thoracic spine. Pressing that left heel back towards the back edge of the mat. And getting a nice deep breath here, maybe even feeling the belly on that front thigh a little bit. And we'll draw one more breath in here. And as we exhale, just bringing that hand down to the mat. And we'll step that right leg back to plank. Inhale here in your plank. And as we exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. Letting the tops of the feet come to the mat. And we'll inhale, rising it up, keeping the hips down on the mat. And we'll exhale to lower down. And this time we'll reach the hands out to the outside corners of the mat, and we'll press into the hands and rise up, pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat. Gaze comes forward. Maybe you walk the hands back a little bit more, rise up a little bit more. Draw the shoulder blades down and together behind. And gaze can come slightly up if you want. And we're just going to hold here for a few breaths. Getting a little bit of a release. Maybe for the abdominals, stretching that out. Maybe if you have a tight lumbar spine, getting a little bit of a release through there. And just remember that you can take it wherever you're comfortable. So if that means you stay a little bit lower, then you stay a little bit lower. Maybe you're on your elbows instead of fully extended arms into Sphinx pose. And that's okay. It's your practice, it's your body, and you'll do what's right for you. Feeling the breath, helping that stretch through the front body. Keep drawing those shoulder blades down and back. We'll take one more breath in. And as we exhale, just lowering down to the mat. Drawing the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tucking the toes. We'll inhale, bringing it to plank. And as we exhale, pressing back to down dog. And again, we can walk the feet a little bit here, taking some movement, or you can hold it steady. And then we'll all just hold steady. Fingers spread nice and wide, hips reaching towards the sky. Back stays nice and flat. Knees can be bent, or they can be straight, trying to pull the kneecaps up the quads. And now in this position, let's think about pulling our heels apart without actually having our feet move. And now, how does that change this pose? Where do you start to feel it? Can you feel it through the sides of the feet? Can you feel it up into the glute med a little bit maybe? We'll draw one more breath. And exhale here. Inhale to raise the left leg up to the sky. And exhale, bringing the knee to the chest, stepping left foot through the hands. And then we're just going to drop down that right knee. Let the top of the foot relax. Again, if you want to place a towel or a blanket or something under the knee or fold the mat under, you can. And you can always press into the top of the foot to take a little pressure off the knee as well. As we inhale, we'll just walk the hands up to the knee, to the thigh. And as we exhale, we'll just move a little bit more in towards that front knee, trying to open up that hip on the right side this time. And as we inhale, raising the right arm up to the sky. And exhale to reach it over towards the left side of the mat this time. Watching your alignment of the knee, just making sure that it doesn't open up or sink in towards mid-body. Keep pressing into the top of the back foot, so the right top foot. And keep reaching the right fingertips over, opening up through right side body. Using the breath to assist with the lengthening through the side. And inhale to raise the arm up to ceiling. Exhale to bring the hand down to the mat or just outside the mat. And we'll post over to that hand, lean over it to a little bit. Maybe get a little bit of a lift onto the back toe, adjust the knee. And then inhale, bending the back knee, and reaching with the left hand to that right leg. And we'll walk the hand over to the outside edge of the foot so that we come into an external rotation on the left shoulder. And we'll move a little bit more into that left front. Gaze comes up to the sky if you're comfortable. Let the chest open. Let the hip flexor open. Feeling a stretch through the top front quad on the right side. And the hip flexor. Notice the breath. Is the breath feeling restricted? Is it shaky? And try to relax the breath. Get good quality inhale and exhale. And try to relax into this stretch as much as you can. And we'll take one more breath in and out here. And on the next exhale, we'll just gently release that back leg. Let it come down to the mat. And we'll rotate so that we're turning our upper body. And we'll place the left hand inside of the left foot this time. Toe to heel that left foot out to the outer edge of the mat. And we'll bring it into gecko. So again, choosing to keep the knee down to the mat, or tuck the toes, lift it up. Maybe adjust to where you're comfortable. And we're gonna take it to the outside edge of the foot if you're comfortable, or you can stay flat. And you're gonna walk the hands forward, maybe coming down to the elbows, maybe staying with the leg extended, maybe keeping the back leg straight, or maybe coming down to the knee, letting the back leg relax. And remember to adjust to where you're comfortable and what feels good for you and your body today. And then start to bring your concentration onto your breath and how your breath feels. Where are you feeling this in the body? Are you feeling it in the inner thigh? Are you feeling tension anywhere that you can release on an exhale? And we'll hold for a couple breaths. One more breath here. And as we inhale, we'll bring the hands under the shoulders, extending the arms, bringing the foot flat down to the floor if you were to the outside edge. And we'll tuck the back toe, pressing through that right heel and extending through the hip again. And the chest will draw forward towards the front edge of the mat. Pressing that right heel back, drawing the right knee in towards that right arm. And then we'll inhale and we'll raise the right arm up to the sky. Gaze can follow the arm for a T-spine rotation. And we'll hold here for a couple of breaths. Think about pressing the right heel back, reaching up to the sky with the fingertips on that left arm. Keeping the belly a little bit tight. Maybe feeling the breath on the inside of the thigh as you inhale. And we'll take one more breath in and out here. And last inhale. As you exhale, bringing that hand down, placing it inside of the leg again. And we'll step back on an exhale to plank. Inhale in your plank, pressing heels back, drawing thighs together. And we'll exhale, squeeze the elbows to the side, lower all the way down to the mat. Letting the tops of the feet relax to the mat again. Hands come to the corners, and as we inhale, drawing shoulder blades together, lifting chest up. Gaze comes forward. Pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Draw the shoulder blades together and down the back. And we'll hold here for a couple of breaths again. Gaze can be forward, or maybe it's slightly up. You can be fully extended arms or down on the elbows in Sphinx. Either way, shoulder blades draw together. Each inhale, feel a stretch all through the front side body. One more inhale here. And as we exhale, we'll just lower down to the mat, and we'll turn so that our right side of our cheek is down on the mat. Arms can stay bent at a 90. And then we're just going to draw the knee up to a figure 4, keeping it on the floor for a little bit of an inner thigh stretch here. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. Option to keep the right cheek onto the mat, or to move so that the left cheek, so you have a little bit of a twist through the cervical spine. And trying to press that inside thigh down towards the mat. Keeping the foot at a 90-degree angle to the shin. And let the shoulders relax. Make sure they're not drawing up towards the ears. Keep drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Maybe adjust the hands if you need to. And then from here, we'll just open the arms up so that they're in a T. And we'll bring our gaze back over the left side. And then we're going to bend that left arm. And we're going to press into that. Stack the legs one on top of the other, or maybe the top leg comes back, reaching towards that right arm. So opening through the chest, through the hip flexor. And head can just relax down to the mat. Opening that front right shoulder. And we'll take one more breath in and out here. And last inhale. And as we exhale, just stacking the legs, rolling gently onto the stomach, keeping the head in line with the spine. And we'll bend both arms. And we'll place that left cheek down onto the mat this time, drawing the right knee up to a figure 4 at the side. Keeping the foot 90 degrees to the shin. Arms can be bent. Adjust the arms so that it doesn't feel like the shoulders are shrugging up towards the ears, but rather they're relaxed and drawn slightly back. And trying to press the inner thigh of the right leg into the mat or the floor. Then we'll inhale to raise the head and exhale to draw the right cheek down to the mat. So we have a slight twist through the cervical spine. And we'll just relax here, enjoying this stretch for a couple of breaths. And then we'll extend the arms out to that T. Bending the right arm. Gaze will come over to the right side. We're going to press into that right hand, keeping the left hand, the shoulder down onto the mat. And as we do that, we'll stack the legs one on top of the other, turning onto our side, getting a stretch for that front shoulder on the left side and the chest. And if this is where you'd like to stay, you can stay here. But maybe you take that top leg and you reach it back towards that left hand, getting an opening through the hip flexor on the top right side. Head can just stay relaxed down to the mat. And we'll use our breath to help increase the stretch. As the breath draws the belly forward and the hip flexor opens up a little bit more. And we'll just hold here for a couple of breaths. Feeling that opening through the top right body. And through that left chest and shoulder down on the bottom. One more breath in here. And as we exhale, we'll just stack the legs. And gently roll onto the stomach. Head stays in line with the spine. Drawing both hands in underneath the shoulders. And as we inhale, we'll press back to child's pose. So press up onto the hands. Hips will sit back over the heels. Option to keep the knees together. Or if it's more comfortable for you, you can keep the toes together and knees apart. And just sit back. Hands will reach out. So we're going to walk the hands forward till we feel the stretch through the sides of the body. And we'll wrap the armpits down towards the outside edges of the mat. And sit the hips back over the heels. Getting this stretch through the upper back, and as you inhale, feeling how that breath helps to assist that opening through the upper back. And maybe you walk the hands forward a little bit more. Maybe opening the chest a little bit more. Letting the elbows relax down to the mat. And feeling the widening through the upper back. Just taking a couple of breaths here, relaxing into this pose. Feeling the breath through the belly as the belly expands on the inhale. Maybe you can feel it if your legs are apart on the insides of the thighs, or if your legs are together, maybe you feel it on the tops of the thighs. And we'll take one more breath in and out here. As we inhale, we'll draw the hands underneath the shoulders and we'll press ourselves up so that we're in a kneeling position. Then we'll just walk the hands out and we'll lie back down on our backs. And we'll keep the knees bent, soles of the feet to the mat. We'll take our right leg, cross it over the left knee. Hands will come out nice and wide. And we'll tuck the chin into the chest. And we'll inhale here. As we exhale, we're just going to let that right foot drop down to the left side. Feeling an opening through the outer hip on this one. And if you're not comfortable in the twist, then the option is to stay on the back. And you can just grasp onto the hamstring and pull the knee in towards the chest. If you're going to hold this position, then option to use the hand to maybe open up that knee a little bit, because the knee tends to drift in towards midline and we want to make sure that it doesn't do that. So either a little bit in the twist or on your back, whichever is most comfortable for you. And we'll hold for a couple of breaths. If you're in your twist, then both shoulder blades should be down on the mat. And if you're on your back, then the head is relaxed, the shoulder blades are relaxed, so that you're not curled into a little ball. Again, noticing the breath and bringing your attention to that breath and the quality of the breath. Taking nice full inhales until at the top of the inhale you naturally move into the exhale. So nothing is forced. You're breathing at your pace. And on the next inhale, we'll just take that right leg, place it on top of the left so that we're into that twist. Or if you're on your back, then just bring that right leg down to the floor and hold it there, and we'll meet in that position. As we inhale again, we'll start to raise the right leg up, keeping it bent to the sky, and then let the left leg follow. In the middle, maybe a little hip lift, adjust the hips, and let the legs come down to the mat. And if you stayed on your back, maybe do the same thing, a little adjustment for the hips, so a little raise and let the hips down. And then we're going to take the left leg this time, crossing the foot over the right knee. We'll inhale here. And as we exhale, bringing that left foot down towards the right floor. Or again, if you want to, staying on the back, grasping onto the hamstring. Whichever position you're in, both shoulder blades are on the floor, the head is relaxed to the mat. And chin is tucked in, it's not jutting up towards the sky. And trying to relax as much as possible in this position. Feeling the breath nice and full in the belly, assisting in this stretch. And maybe if you're outside like I am, feeling the sunshine and the warmth from the sunshine. And just enjoying that sunshine and the feel of warmth and the sounds of nature around us. The birds in the trees, the leaves blowing in the breeze. And how relaxing is that to be able to do a yoga practice outside and have all of these wonderful relaxing things around you, and getting to breathe in the fresh air with every breath that you take, nourishing your body, nourishing your mind. And if you're on your side, then we're just going to take that left leg and let it relax onto the right leg, stacking the feet one on top of the other. If you're on your back, then you're just going to take that left foot and bring it down to the mat, keeping knees bent. And we'll keep the knees bent also on the sides, and we'll start by lifting the left leg up towards the sky, keeping knee bent, so that our body starts to turn with the leg, and then lifting the right leg to follow. In the middle, wherever you are with your feet on the floor or the feet up, we'll just do a little hip raise. And then relax the hips down, bringing the feet down if they were up. And everybody will bring the legs to a full extension, coming into our final Savasana of the practice today. So you're going to adjust the arms, adjust the legs, the head, anything that you need to, just to get into a comfortable position that you feel you could hold for a little while. And we'll go through a little bit of a nidra practice to close out our practice today. So we're really going to concentrate on ourselves. Eyes will be closed, and we'll start by concentrating on the breath. And as we move through today, in this last few minutes of our practice, I don't want you to try to think ahead or think of anything else. I just want you to listen to my voice and react to what I'm saying. And first of all, we're going to bring your attention to the very top of your head, so the top of your skull. And feel maybe a little bit of heat at the top of the skull. And as you have your eyes closed, thinking about the very top of the skull, picture a white light. It's so bright. And just see that white light in your head at the very top of the head. And then you're going to picture the right side of the skull. So the eye socket, the right cheek. And picture that bright light from the top of the skull now to the right side. And drumming and picturing and feeling the right ear. And from the ear, the right jaw. And letting the jaw relax as the white light comes down there, feeling the warmth of the light and the relaxation all through the right side of the skull. The right eye is relaxed. You can feel a length through the jaw as the jaw relaxes. Still picturing that white light coming down, this time the right side of the body to the right front shoulder. And as you exhale, right shoulder comes down to the mat. And feel the warmth of that white light on the shoulder. And come to the top of the right arm. And concentrating on the right forearm. All the way to the right palm, and feeling, maybe holding that white light in the palm of your hand. Feeling the back of the right hand on the floor beneath you as the white light is in the right palm. Now noticing all of the fingers on the right hand, and let them relax. Notice the back of the right forearm on the mat, the back of the right arm, the back right shoulder blades. And bringing it back up the neck. And coming to the base of the skull this time. Feeling the base of the skull on the mat beneath you as it feels heavy. And drawing your attention to the left eye socket this time. Maybe seeing that white light there. And letting the left eye relax. Coming to the ear, as you feel maybe like the ear is drawing away from the jawline. Into the left jaw, and let the left side jaw just relax. Let the whole left side body, left side of the skull relax. Bringing that attention to the left front shoulder. Let that left front shoulder sink away from the ears. Let it feel heavy as it sinks to the mat and just melts down with the heat that's sitting on it now. Now coming to the bicep of the left arm, feeling it relax. The top forearm on the left side, all the way to the palm of the left hand, and seeing that bright white ball of light as you hold it in the palm of the left hand. And the fingers are maybe slightly curled around that ball. You feel the top of the left hand, the back of the left hand, heavy on the mat beneath you or the floor. So the left hand is heavy, left palm is warm with that orb of light that you're holding. Drawing your attention to the left forearm as it rests on the floor. The upper arm of the left side resting all the way to that left shoulder blade. And drawing across the top of the shoulder blades so that you feel both the right and the left shoulder down on the mat. Let your right arm and your left arm feel heavy down to the floor. Noticing how the floor feels beneath it, like it's supporting both arms. Now bring your attention to the toes on your right side. From the big toe all the way to the little toe. Feeling the sole of the foot as it just relaxes the arch. And feeling the right heel on the mat beneath you. Bring your attention to that whole right leg and let it feel heavy, like it's sinking into the mat, as if you were on a white sand beach and it was so soft, but your leg was so heavy that it was just sinking down. And let that right leg stay heavy. Bring your attention now to the left leg, the left foot, each toe on the left side of the body, the big toe, the second toe, all the way to the baby toe on the left foot. Feeling and noticing the underside of the left foot to the arch. And letting that whole foot just relax. Feeling that left heel as it presses down to the mat beneath you. And now bring your attention to that whole left leg. And let the left leg feel heavy again, like it's sinking into the sand. And just let it drift down and sink. And bring your attention to the front, the top side of the hips, and let the hips just open and relax. Let the body feel heavy beneath you. Notice how you can feel the back of the calves on your right and your left leg. The right and left hamstring sinking and heavy. Notice the whole body just nice and relaxed and heavy. And come back to your breath. And let the breath, let the upper body feel light. And with the exhale, you're just going to let the body sink a little bit more into the sand or into the mat. Inhale to fill the belly and the lungs, and let it lift towards the sun. And exhale, release tension, feel heavy, let gravity just do its job and support you wherever you are. I'll just take a couple more breaths in and out here at your pace. Drawing your attention back to the eyes as the eyes are closed. And maybe this time you see a purple light as the eyes are closed. And just enjoying how it feels to lie here in the sun on this beautiful day. You can lie here as long as you'd like, and as long as you enjoy. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly take yourself out of this by first fluttering the eyes and maybe moving the fingers and toes. So wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, maybe a little rock of the head side to side. Getting a little bit of a less massage for the base of the skull, or maybe the head stays heavy. Remember, you're going to do what feels right for you and your body in this time and space. And if that means that you lie here for a little bit longer because that's what you need, then that's what you'll do. And I wish you a wonderful day or a wonderful evening. And I hope that you've enjoyed the practice. Thank you for joining.